Hi, I'm Grace.
And I'm Meg.
And this is Off the Duff.
In an earlier episode, we talked about goals, having them, considering not having them, goals versus intentions, what we should call them. So this time, though, we thought we'd talk about how we track our progress towards those goals or intentions or whatever we're deciding to call them. So I guess first we should probably talk about whether or not it's worthwhile to track that progress, either beforehand or in retrospect, and how we go about doing that.
Well, I, for one, definitely think that tracking goals and actually tracking a lot of things is a worthwhile endeavor. I feel like if you don't keep track of what you need to do, you're probably going to forget, or I guess I should rephrase that if I don't keep track of what I need to do, I am most certainly going to forget. But from the retrospect perspective, I really do appreciate tracking goals because sometimes I feel like I am standing completely still. And if I have a way to kind of look back and see what I've been working on and see my successes, then I gain greater confidence and I have a better perspective of where I'm at, how far I've come. And it gives me a sense of confidence about what I'm actually able to achieve. And so it motivates me. I think that it would be really easy for that to be lost otherwise, and I could lose momentum. And so I really do think that tracking progress is something that's worthwhile. How about you?
Well, I think I definitely do somewhat, because otherwise I conveniently forget everything. So, like, if it's a work thing, I have a way to track that progress, and that is that I'm getting my to-do list done for whatever project I'm working on. And also I have a way to look back at things I've done, projects I've worked on over there. So I have, for me, with work anyway, I have this finished piece, whether it's a course or a video or a printed project for a client or something. So I have that to look back on. But where I conveniently forget is when I track things like what I'm eating and, you know, what activity I'm doing. Because I think, oh yeah, I'm sure I had all my veggies today. I'm sure I didn't eat that much today. No. And then you forget here and there, oh yeah, what about that? Oh yeah, what about that? So I think definitely on certain things like that, where it's just an easy, almost scapegoat to forget that you actually have done something.
That's a really good point in terms of tracking what you've eaten or other kinds of habits and whatnot. You know, did I work out 3 times this week? Sure I did.
I must have. I felt like I did, you know.
I know I'm tired and sore. I must have worked out. That's it for sure.
I do the same thing, or I'll think like, you know, oh no, I'll do that. Like if I say I'm going to do that 3 times a week or whatever, I'll be like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it. I've still got time this week. But if you're not writing it down in your head, you're sure you've done it, or that you have time, and you don't realize, oh, I'm supposed to do it 3 days a week, and there's only 2 days left in the week that I've set up for myself. So I definitely think that that's a way to do it.
I think it's also worthwhile to track things that you try to figure out if you hate them or not. You know, sometimes it's good to know that particular recipe sucked, or like for me, I can't, there's certain kinds of exercise machines I can't do because they hurt me. They hurt my hips or whatever. And if I'm not keeping track of that kind of thing, then it's really easy for me to end up repeating things that I already know are a fail.
Oh.
And that's just a waste of my time.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I never even thought about it that way. That's cool. So exactly how do you go about tracking your progress?
So I am a haphazard tracker at best. I'm an avid journaler, and I do use my journal to track certain things, and that's been useful for me. But I also make lists on the backs of envelopes and on Post-it notes and in my phone and on random scraps of paper, and sometimes I remember to keep those with me and sometimes I don't. And so that's kind of an inefficient way of tracking things. I do use some apps on my phone sometimes, and those, when I remember to use them, are really useful, but a lot of times I fall out of that habit too. And so recently I was introduced to the concept of bullet journaling, and apparently it's a thing. And I'm going to give it a try. I have my little journal here. I just got it. I'm going to set it up for February. I'm trying to follow that particular method to see if it works for me. It's a good way to track things that we need to do, places we need to go, things we want to do, and also to track your habits and things like that. And so I'm just going to give it a shot and see if it helps make me more effective. I'd like to see where my time is going, because I always feel like I never have enough of it.
Right.
And so maybe, using something like this, it's the kind of journal you keep with you all day long. Maybe that will help me identify where the waste is. But sometimes I feel like I might be overindulging in it and not realizing it. Kind of like, oh, I forgot I ate that, extra quesadilla or whatever it is, And so if I can see where my time is going, then I'm hoping that might help me figure out how to spend more time doing the things that make me feel like life is worth living, and a little less time just being a potato.
You said that you can take that journal with you, and that's what I do. I have a small spiral-bound notebooks, which I didn't put nearby so I could grab and show you. But it's just like a little A4, A6, I don't know. It's like a 4x6-ish notebook, and it's got a hard like plastic cover, vinyl cover on it, which I like because it gives it some rigidity. But it's kind of small. I can fit it in my pocket if I have to, but it definitely goes in my bag easily. Travels with me everywhere I go. In fact, I have 2 of them. But I have one for my everyday, like my to-do list, but I like it because I write down the date at the top of the page. And then when I need to see something I did or what I've been working on all week, I can go back through it and it's a nice logical order. And you were talking about putting little to-do lists or little notes and not being able to find them. I put all my notes that I take during that day, whether it's a meeting with somebody or whatever, if it's not part of a larger project, I put that on the facing page. And then I go, oh, that was last Thursday or that was a week ago. I can go backwards and at least find where it is. So for me, I do look at it that way. And again, I'm always working on projects, so I think there's a little bit different structure to it. But in going back to like the eating, making sure that we're eating our 5 fruits and vegetables and not having that extra quesadilla, I just have a little whiteboard that I put on my fridge, and I just sectioned it off into, breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks, because I do the 5 small meals a day. And I write down, I have my little codes of what each thing means, that was a fruit, that was a fat, that was a grain or whatever. So I have that, and I can keep track of that because, otherwise at the end of the day, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure I've had my veggies or whatever. I'm just going to eat, a sandwich, and it has a lot of carbs or whatever. And I look and I go, oh, but I had cereal for breakfast and I had some rice with lunch. Maybe I should just have something that's, vegetarian for dinner or something like that. Or I've had too much protein or whatever, exactly, or even vegan or whatever. But it's like, I always know by the end of the day, I need to, load up on my veggies, or I can look and see that I had them at lunch. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I can have veggies. Obviously, you can't have too many, but it's like, but I don't have to, and again, it's not a strict thing day by day. I try to, put it over the week. How am I doing over the week? But I don't keep track of my weekly progress, just my daily. But for some of those harder, and I'm going to use the G word, I'm going to say goals, but I do have an app for that I use called Progress, actually. So, and it's a way for me to write down measurements, is what I've decided to do. Instead of my weight, I do measurements so I can see those results. And again, for me, I can see results because I know when I'm eating well, I feel well. But for me, it's like, I don't need it necessarily written down. It's just sort of a mental tracking of that progress. So what about you guys? How do you guys track your progress? Do you track your progress or your journey towards your goals or your intentions? Grace is trying out bullet journaling. Have you guys tried that? Have you tried something else? Is there something you'd like to try? Or are you guys thinking about trying bullet journaling? Help her on her way, because I'm no good. I have no good input, but I'm really excited to see though what comes from that.
So let us know in the comments. Maybe you have some ideas or methods that Ek or I would find useful. Maybe we could somehow drag Ek into journaling.
Nah.
It's my intention to share my bullet journal journey with you, so stay tuned on our channel to see little videos about that progress. And it would be great if we could all just track together the ways that we get off our duffs.